I was going to say good morning, but actually, maybe it's good day. To some, good evening, or even late night. This week, we're focusing on community health assessment and improvement. To remind you of our specific charge, you were recently appointed administrator of a public health organization, and your governing body charges you to assess the capacity and improve the performance of the organization in order to achieve full accreditation within 3 years. You have 100 days to produce a credible plan to achieve this goal. We're actually now down to about 69 days or so. Tools this week focus on community health indicators and the criteria of a meaningful indicator and data synthesis and prioritization decision methods. We'll turn back to 2 of our case studies from this module. The Gulf oil spill and the Wyandotte County case study. So let's start with the Gulf oil spill. As the basis of your indicators, please be sure to closely look at the leading health indicators of Healthy People 2020. Each group should come up with at least one specific community health indicator that you believe should be incorporated into our scenario, the upcoming community health assessment process. A detailed justification is critical to this tool. Your justification should specify a description of what the indicator will measure, for example, infant mortality, a description of what information the indicator might provide as to the health of your community in the aftermath of the Gulf oil spill disaster, and specific measures that you propose to use to measure this concept. An example of a specific measure of infant mortality is the number of deaths in the first year of life per 1,000 live births. The second piece of your tool should then describe 5 attributes or characteristics to establish meaningful community health indicator criteria. So let's look a little more closely again at the Healthy People 2020 leading topic areas and indicators. Some of these may be very relevant to assessing the aftermath of the Gulf oil spill. However, what other indicators, at least one, can your group add that would specifically tailor the assessment to the specific health issues that were caused directly or maybe indirectly by the spill? Once your group has agreed on a community health issue specific indicator, next, develop criteria to rate or evaluate the proposed indicator. Propose a list of the 5 most important attributes for an indicator of community health status. What makes one indicator more meaningful and useful than another? The tool your indicator will be, your tool is the indicator that you've come up with, along with your list of 5 criteria for community health indicators. Be sure to upload this tool onto the respective group discussion board. Here are some criteria for you to review as you grow through this process. Here's some from a technical aspect, such as, is the indicator well defined? Is the indicator worthwhile or important? Is it valid and reliable? Can it be understood by people who need to act? And you can look through these on your own and ideally discuss with your groups. And here's some criteria from a community perspective. You can determine if the indicator is meaningful, relevant, and actionable. Okay, now let's switch gears, at least in terms of location, for this Module 2, the second Module 2 tool. We're going back to Wyandotte County and moving forward in the process to prioritize the health problems within a community. For our second Module 2 tool, we'll identify and rank the next 3 steps that should be taken to improve the health of the citizens of Wyandotte County. Steps should be implementable and sustainable no matter what happens with healthcare reform and the ACA. Justification of your list and your ranking is also required and critical for this tool. And everything is on the table. You don't have to limit yourself to changes in the healthcare system per se. You should not only propose feasible next steps, but a broad array of local, state, and national resources can also be considered. This next slide reminds us of some of the health-related issues from an ecological perspective that Wyandotte residents may be facing. And here are some potential interventions. I imagine that many of you will have touched on some of these issues and interventions in the conferencing exercise that we'll learn of on Monday. Maybe you're thinking about it now. There are multiple health issues in need of intervention in this community. So where do we start? Size, seriousness, intervention effectiveness, and feasibility certainly serve as useful guiding principles when prioritizing health problems. And fortunately, we have some evidence-based strategies that can serve to guide us through a rigorous prioritization method. With your groups, please review these following slides and then select which method your group will use to prioritize health issues in Wyandotte County. We have a 3-round multi-voting method. We have a 2x2 strategy grid. Then we have a criteria matrix. And then one that you may have known of already, the Hanlon method, priority score. And we have a prioritization matrix. After your group has determined the prioritization method that you prefer to use and arrived at a common short list of 3 possible steps for Wyandotte County, work through this method as a group to determine your priorities. Then on the respective discussion board, you will post the 3 top health issues that your group decided to prioritize. For this group tool, it's important, again, like the other group tool in Module 2, to include a justification that describes the prioritization method used and how and why your group arrived at these priorities, as well as the criteria that you used. I hope you enjoyed going through these exercises together. I think that they both provide a great deal of insight into how we as public health practitioners improve and maintain the health of our communities. I really look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thank you.